and welcome to a 2019 edition of Red Mountain Express. I'm your host, Blake Westbrook. Joining me as always is Patrick Tucker. Matthew Joyner is still on. He is still on assignment. He is up in the Yukon. He is interviewing Yukon Cornelius right now. So we're hoping to hear back from him and see how he's doing, how the Yeti's doing, or the Bumble, whatever you want to call it, and Santa Claus. So Matthew, if you're listening to this from the isolated location that you're in, we miss you, we love you, and we hope you come back. But we do have a guest host on the show today. JD Baker's with us. JD, what's going on, man?
Hey, not a whole lot. What about yourself?
Doing good. JD is a friend of Matthew, Patrick, and I. We all go to church together. He is also famous in the Birmingham scene for being JD from JD and the Man, and plays pretty often around town. Where are you playing next?
I'll be at Odie's. Well, I don't know when this is going to
This
air.
is all right. So we'll get into that in a second. But like right now, it is January the 30th. So
Yes.
go.
Okay, I will be at Odie's January 31st.
So you'll be listening to this on your morning commute on the 31st, guys. If you have nothing to do tomorrow night or tonight when you're listening to this, go to Odie's Tavern.
Listen to JD and the Man.
Saw's Juke Joint on February 1st.
I love sauce.
Groundhog's Day Eve.
Yeah, Groundhog's Day Eve.
Groundhog's
Oh.
Day
So that
Eve.
means when you go to sleep, you're going to wake up and you're going to be. Well, no.
No, it's
Groundhog
actually
Day
on
festivities
Groundhog Day.
will
Yeah.
be-
So you won't have to
Saturday.
perpetually play this gig over and over again
No, I should be free from that.
until you're a good person.
I think so.
You're already a good person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just saying. In the
So
movie.
we have an apology to all of our fans. First of all, yes, we know this is our first show since we stopped in December for the holidays, but technically it's not really our first show, right, Patrick?
No, there have been others.
There have been others,
There was
They
at
were
least one episode.
and it was a good episode too.
It's a very good episode. We'll try to recap some of the finer points from our
Yeah.
previous episode that was never released because
Really,
I diligently edited it
and I never posted it.
and Blake never posted it. It actually took me a long time to edit it, so it was probably all really
But
old news.
we've all been like super duper busy. Like
It's
I've
been
traveled
crazy.
over the state. I think you've been busy. You know,
You could
Jake.
pull it out farther down the road. It'd be like the lost tapes.
Yeah, that's what I said on last episode, making fun of our previously unreleased episode when we were talking about how we didn't know what episode it was. That all made just a lot of sense.
We don't know what episode this one is, do we?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So, but the last one was like, if you sign up for our Patreon account and make a donation, we'll be glad to supply you with the lost episodes.
There you go. See?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've had like 3 or 4, I've had, I think 5 people who have messaged me or stopped me. Like one was at church and was like, where's the podcast? Have y'all quit? Did y'all quit? you didn't stop, did you? We're like, no. And we're recording this week. And so since we said that, I was like, we got to record this week. So
We got to record, and we're actually going to edit this and post it tonight.
Boom.
So that's the goal. So we don't go off and get busy again. We've got time dedicated. So it's going to happen tonight.
So let's cover a little bit what we covered last time around.
Yeah, so some really interesting things in the news. There's
Shipped.
bought a building.
Yeah, well, the naming rights, and they're going to occupy most of the old. I think it was the South Trust Tower, then it became the Wachovia Tower, then it became the Wells Fargo Tower, and now, in 2020, it will be the Ship Tower. So, hey, man, that's great. That's a Birmingham company on a.
Yeah,
Big
They're
tower?
still remaining in their space in the hand building
Yeah,
too, correct?
they're going to stay in the hand building, but then they're going to move a big, sizable chunk of their operations to the Wells
The
Fargo
Ship Tower.
Ship Tower, yeah.
2 shipped buildings.
yes.
Yeah.
And I imagine 2 shipped logos on buildings downtown.
Yeah, they're going to put the ship logo on top. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, if I bought that big darn building and it put my name on top of it, I mean, come on. I mean, that's going to happen. So, yeah, I don't know if, I guess you're going to put 2 ship logos on there.
Might as well.
So, yeah, so that's great for them.
Put one on everything. I think it's awesome that Target's pretty much letting them stay here and not.
Oh, man, they could
not
have
pulling
pulled
the
that plug and moved
yeah.
them to Palo Alto. In a
I think that
heartbeat.
was part of their deal, though.
Yeah.
You know, we could ask somebody that worked there. If only we knew
Well, he's up in the Yukon.
someone.
He's interviewing
All right.
Yukon
Anyway.
Cornelius. Sorry.
So what else did we talk about last time that we haven't talked about yet?
The Western is closing.
All of them.
All of them. I know you're a fan.
I'm a fan. I live very, very, very close to one in Rocky Ridge.
Yeah, so the owner of the Western decided to, I think, get out. I think he's wanting
Yeah,
to
I
retire.
think they're done.
Sold the building leases to Publix, and Publix is moving into all of them except for, I think, one of them. There's going to be a Greenwise in Mountain Brook, which
Yeah.
is Publix's organic, whatever you want to call it. I call it. It's going to be
the expensive store.
It's going to be the poor man's Whole Foods.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then there's going to be the Publix over there on Rocky Ridge.
Right. Which is they're actually tearing down that building and rebuilding like a 35,000 square foot building for Publix to go in there, and that's going to be the full market, just normal neighborhood Publix. And then they had two other,
one in Southside, and
which that one is closing. I don't think they know exactly. Sorry, at 5 Points.
5 Points, yeah. I'm sorry, and they don't know what that's going to be yet.
Yeah, don't know what's the fate of that one is yet. And then there was one more like market. There wasn't a Western branded. I think it was a different brand that's also closing, and I think they're looking for a buyer for that one.
Yeah, so it's sad because it's a. Birmingham has had its own chains of grocery stores for a while. You had Bruno's, which was, of course,
That's
I'm
what
from
I grew
Montgomery
up on,
originally, and you can still see the Bruno's designs around town for the old Bruno's buildings, especially with the Hoover Tactical Firearms was an old Bruno's, you could tell. Yeah. And then now Western's closing, so it's given way to like Publix and other Whole Foods and other grocery stores, and you don't have the old ones like.
Speaking of shipped, I think that may be one of the reasons that Western is closing. I don't think they have any affiliation with any grocery delivery services. It's not like with you walk into a Publix and you see like 10 shipped people in there. You hardly see anybody buying groceries. You see all the shipped people coming in and out, and then and they're affiliated with Target, obviously. And now you got Amazon Prime with Whole Foods and all that. So, grocery business is becoming more of an online business. And Western, I don't think they really saw a path forward with that.
See, I like going to the grocery store. I like that little
I do too.
time,
Their beer and wine selection was incredible.
Yeah. Well, the Piggly Wiggly, now, I will say this. I live right next to a Piggly Wiggly, and the beer and wine selection at the Piggly Wiggly near my house is fantastic. But you're right, the Western was good, too.
And they would have wine tastings on Fridays, and they had they always had a very knowledgeable person in the wine department, like just staffed, just there. And it was great because you could go in and be like, what goes with pea soup, and they'd be like, oh, this is beautiful.
He wipes the blood from the cow he just butchered in the back and says, well, this year was really, really good, and I would definitely pair this with some bratwurst or possibly a steak.
I'm not sure if Publix will keep that up.
No, they won't. They won't. It's not your daddy's grocery store, man. Lady in the beehive, hair up front, checking things off, telling you all about it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's the old news.
Well, no, and then Birmingham now.
Oh yeah.
And now JD told us about this. So JD, tell us your first story here on the podcast.
It's Birmingham Now recognized your podcast as one of the top 5 or 6 podcasts that are worth a listen.
Why are you putting bunny ears on worth a listen?
Why was that in quotes?
Well, it's worth a listen when we post.
that is what they said, but I think they meant 5 or 6 best podcasts in Birmingham. That's really what.
That's the way I read it.
Okay.
It's like the guy on that commercial that's like.
Do you not like our podcast?
No, I love your podcast
because this is ours now.
I'm just going by what the words.
It's like that commercial now where he's like, I'm one of the tattoo artists in town. He's like, you mean one of the best? And he's like, yeah. Like one of the tattoo artists. So, no, thank you, Birmingham Watch.
Birmingham Now.
I knew I was going to do that. Birmingham Now, thank you for giving us a shout out.
I'm glad we're back on the air, man. It's nice. It's nice to, us all be together again.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
first timer here.
I know. And you jumped at it. I was like, hey, man, do you want to record with us? And you were like, yeah, absolutely. And then offered up your place.
Long-time listener.
So we're in
long time, first time.
Hey, Paul.
We should definitely just start recording when we walk in the door because, I think it'd be so much more interesting sometimes.
It's so much more inappropriate.
It is, but we discuss movies and stuff, which me and JD basically quote The Big Lebowski left and right.
Scenario, you just get one of those little explicit lyrics things next to it.
Just a little beep button.
E. Yeah,
I can edit those out.
You can get a beep.
I can edit.
Can we plug in a beep
beeps.
to the thing and just beep everything out?
Hold it on. Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Like a cough button.
Yeah. Well, we have been. Someone that was listening to the podcast was listening to it with their daughter in the car, and she was like touting it, like, "This is really good. This is this is Blake and Patrick and Matthew, and you'll really like it." And they started driving down the road and listening to us, and she was enjoying it. And her daughter was like, "This sounds like the news." So, hey, we're trying to get the kids here. So, anyway, we apologize. We're going to try to be more diligent on recording and posting and keeping you up to date on what's going on in Birmingham. But let's take a break.
We will.
And when we come back, we'll talk about the rest of what's going on in Birmingham and let JD contribute just a little bit more. What do you think, JD?
Sure.
Okay. We'll see you in a minute. Beecham Woodworks is a locally owned and operated wood shop in Birmingham, Alabama, specializing in custom furniture and small home goods. Chris and Kanan Beecham create a wide variety of unique pieces of all sizes, ranging from cutting boards to farmhouse tables. Using wood sourced from Alabama sawmills, Beecham Woodworks creates affordable, quality pieces that will be a one-of-a-kind fixture for your home. So support your local woodworker and visit redmountainexpress.com/woodworks or check them out on their Facebook and Instagram accounts. Beecham Woodworks, turning your house into a home. And we're back with the second half of whatever episode this is. We've lost track, man. We have lost track.
Guess what? Our listeners don't care.
They don't
episode.
care. They just love our voices.
That's for us.
Could reset.
We'll put it on the line.
This is episode 1. We could call this the second season.
Ooh.
We could.
Welcome to the second season.
Season 2, episode
season
1.
3.
It would be season 3 at this point, right?
Yeah, if you go by year.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to season 3 of the Red Mountain Express.
Yeah. We're in like the good seasons of like a show because
switch out the cast.
Yeah, but the third season is usually the peak.
Yeah, we try to do it subtly so nobody will know.
Exactly.
It would have been better if
so
I had said
what's
I was
happening?
Matthew, but like different boys. They switch out the actors, keep the character the same.
Is that the same
Matthew sounds a little different.
The problem is in season 3, the guy that's been there the longest usually gets killed. And I've been here the longest.
That's you.
Just saying. Anyway, let's talk about some news, guys. So one of the things that we've had some folks with the Alabama Theater on the show previously. We've talked about them redoing their sign, the brand new sign. Well, they're going to do some more renovations to the Alabama Theater. They're going to take down the tall sign on the the entrance of the Alabama Theater, and they're going to replace it. So that's really good news.
Yeah, So to say they're replacing it, they're actually refurbishing,
upgrading it,
and upgrading the lights so that it will match the new one that they put up on the side. So that's really good.
Yeah, and they're in the second phase of this upgrading of the Alabama Theater. Like the inside, they've replaced carpet upstairs. They've put in LED bulbs so they can kind of be a lot more energy efficient, and they also can change different colors. And then that's what they're doing with this sign, the refurbishing, make it LED, make it look newer, and let it match the other light they've put over there on the other side of the building. And then the next phase is they're going to take down the marquee, because I believe when we were talking with Gary at the Alabama Theater, the original marquee that's up there now is not the original one. That's just a one they put up years ago, and they're going to take it down and restore and put up one that's more in tune with what the building had, like the original one.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's going to look a whole lot better. It's going to keep in the theme of keeping it looking original and keeping that classic look on it, but also modernizing it as well. So good things for the Alabama Theater. I love going there.
I agree. So it looks like it's going to take 18 months. Is that just for the sign?
I think that's for the third phase.
The whole phase?
Yeah. So I mean,
up to 18 months.
Up to 18 months. So
could be less.
Could be less. Could be more. No, hopefully not more.
I wonder if they have incentives to finish faster, like the interstate closure.
We got to talk about that.
We do, yeah.
So we'll switch gears. Well, Alabama Theater, that's great. We're trying to get Gary back on the show at some point to talk about all these refurnishings and talk about the Summer Film Festival, which is slowly, hopefully, approaching once this polar vortex gets out of the way.
Yeah, we tried to talk to him during
Christmas, and it was like we tried to find times with him, and and it just didn't work with our schedule, and it was nothing he did. It was on our end because we're so bad at this sometimes. So we'll try to get him back on the show. But so did you get snow the other day? Yesterday?
Oh yeah, we got I had like 3 flakes on my deck rail. I could see.
Yeah.
I looked out the window at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I was like, guess I'm going to work.
I didn't even see that much.
You didn't have. Yeah. Now see, we had a dusting of where we were.
Yeah.
We had a dusting. It was gone by like when the sun came up.
Yeah.
But I loved how like everybody was like, "Oh, we're gonna build a snowman," and no. Basically, a lot of people stayed home on a really cold day.
Kids are still out of school?
Yeah, my child's daycare was closed, so I had to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice.
Yeah.
Sort of. I still answered email, though. So.
I was at work. It wasn't very exciting.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No.
So, is the interstate affecting you at all?
Not one bit.
Yeah, see,
but I go
that
out 280, but I know it's affecting a lot of other people. So
there is a couple people I work with who live north of that interstate. Like we have one lady who lives in Warrior.
Ooh.
And drives in every day. And she, I think, cuts through and goes down Caraway Boulevard. And I was like, just come straight on 65, but apparently that's getting jammed up too. But 459 is getting,
it's
people.
Busier.
Oh, my Lord. That's the way I go to work. And I'm going to tell you what, right now, it's twice as busy as that I'm used to.
It doesn't affect me going to work, but it affects me coming back.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. It affects me going to work. Coming back is always just going to be a hassle for me. I mean, it takes me 20 minutes to get back home, but it is what it is because you're
rough commute, Blake.
I know. I could.
There are people that are sitting,
well, like I said,
sitting on
so
whatever street downtown for 20 minutes.
Well, I know, but the lady I work with, she lives in Warrior, Alabama, so that's a commute for her, and it's only made worse by this. But I'm going to say this: I know everybody's been giving folks flack about these bridges closing. It had to be done.
Well, okay, but it didn't. This did not have to be done exactly like this. I think that's what people were upset about.
Well, what else can you do?
There were options.
Moving
they were discussed.
You can't do that because then you're going to displace some folks that are living up in Finley Boulevard. I wouldn't want an interstate going through my front yard either. Oh. I get it. There are other options, but I think that at the end of the day, I mean, it's called malfunction junction, man. It needs to be fixed, and
and this will help.
It'll be better.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. They have, 14 months to do it? Am I speaking too loud in the microphone, Patrick?
You are. You're blowing my ears out.
Blowing your ears. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm standing up, so I'm feeling energetic. So,
Need to get you a stool?
No, there's one right here. I could use it. I will say this. I agree it's causing a lot of people pain, but it had to be done. But I just think that at some point, these bridges were getting loaded down day by day, that we were going to have a catastrophe at some point. Having said all that, what do they have, 14 months to get this done?
I think yeah.
So I think that's I mean, if they can get this done on time, that I would be amazed.
And they have strong incentives to get it done on time.
So do the interstate folks.
If they
but
don't, correct?
But also
the interstate folks have the same thing.
That in and of itself kind of scares the crap out of me. Like, I don't want them to rush this. Like, I kind of want them to take their time and get it right, and not just be like,
they'll be inspected and everything. I mean,
yeah, I know, but yeah,
they're not just gonna be like, done.
Yeah.
Where's my money?
Inspectors don't always find everything, so I want them to take their time, do it right.
Well, the folks that did Corridor X going up to Memphis, it was like $100,000 a day or something like that.
I think it's the same deal.
Well, the problem is that they never paid that bill. They reached a settlement. They're like, oh, that's probably too much. Oh, you're right, it's too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock it down, and yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, hopefully, if you're listening to this, it's not affecting you too badly.
And if it is, we're sorry, and we hope that
it gets better.
Yeah.
In a year, in 2 months.
Next March. So
maybe they'll figure out how to close some streets off downtown and direct traffic and make it flow through there.
And although they're building bridges, guess what else that we're building? We're building a cookout in town.
Yes, we are.
I am so excited. Now, JD, you've never been to Cookout?
I've never been to it, never heard of it.
You never heard of Cookout?
Never heard of it.
Really?
Really?
So this is actually my younger brother's favorite restaurant.
Is it really?
Yeah, he loves this place. And I think partially it's just because they have corn dogs on the menu as like a side item.
I'm going to tell you right now, I had a corn dog the other night, and it was so good. God, it was good, man. A little ketchup, a little mustard, a little fries. Anyway, Cookout, they have one in Troy, Alabama.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, and every time I go to Dothan if I'm going down there for work, I make sure I time it just right so I can go through Dothan and get Cookout. It used to be Crow's Fried Chicken, and then Crow's burned down. So Cookout hasn't burned down yet, so I go there. And the first time, everybody kept talking about how good it was. And so I saw it in Troy. I was like, there's one in Troy, Alabama. I have one in Birmingham. So I stopped and got it. And let me tell you what, it is good.
They have some really good milkshakes.
Yeah.
And I mean, their food's pretty strong, too.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'll try anything once.
Yeah. It's probably not as good as In-N-Out Burger.
Okay.
But it's still good. In-N-Out Burger's good, man.
I think it's better than In-N-Out.
You think so?
Yeah.
In-N-Out's good. I've had it only a couple times, but it's really, really good.
In-N-Out was kind of a novelty thing. I ate it when I was in Vegas, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. It's still like a cheap fast food cheeseburger. I'd rather go to Whataburger.
Oh, get the triple with cheese?
renamed to the triple bypass with cheese.
I'm gonna tell you something funny about Whataburger. So the first time you went there and you were like, Blake, I got the triple with cheese. I'm gonna tell you what, that's like a once in a year type of deal. And I'm like, I get that every time I go.
You do not.
I do too. No, I don't. I get like the double junior because I feel bad about myself when I leave that place. But
a triple cheeseburger is like probably like 1.5 pounds of meat. It's
so
ridiculous.
Good. It is. But you know what? If I'm gonna be over there next to Whataburger, you know what I'm gonna get instead of Whataburger?
Taco truck.
Yeah. So
every day.
So anyway, Cookout's coming. The mayor has been tweeting about this left and right.
Yeah, so I think Mayor Woodfin's pretty excited about Cookout coming.
Yeah.
He's been tweeting some other places too. I think
Kroger? He tweeted about Kroger?
Tweeting Kroger, trying to get them in town, especially with Western closing. They're like, hey, Kroger, what's up?
Yeah, and then he did something about, I can't remember, about government paying something, but it was a really funny tweet, and I'm trying to think about what it was. It's stuck on the top of my head, but anyway.
I don't know about that. The one I saw that was actually really funny. It was like, I'm going to take all the salt from all the haters and use it to put on the roads.
I saw that too, yeah. Yeah. Do you see James Spann did mean tweets on the show? Because he was like, all right, I'll take responsibility. Yeah, I mean, it was done. So he did mean tweets. I was telling
that's
somebody,
funny.
I
didn't see that.
There were a lot of bleeps on that one.
Was there really?
Yeah.
You know what? I was going to tweet at him and say, hey, man, just want you to know that I'm going to have to sell all my stock in milk and white bread because I bought a ton on your advice. So thanks for putting me
people still went and bought the milk and white bread. You'd be doing fine.
See, I don't buy white bread when it's not cold.
Yeah, well,
so,
milk and bread for those milk sandwiches.
We had jambalaya last night.
Oh.
It was nice and cold. It was so good. Anyway, so Cookout's coming. They don't have a specific timeline. It's going to be over there on Lake Shore near that theater if they ever build that damn place. I went by the other day. It looks like they're starting on it, but I don't know if they're building on it yet, man.
Blake's trying to get me to use the bleep button.
I just said damn, like Hoover damn.
Kid friendly.
I'm sorry. Sorry for the child in the back seat saying this is the news. Darn.
But yeah, so Cookout. Awesome.
Yeah, on Lake Shore.
Can't wait.
In later on this year.
I'm doing Whole30 right now.
Record a podcast there.
Oh, that'd be fun. So talking about cookouts,
and then you could eat it for the first time and give your.
It could be a whole thing.
Yeah, JD, he's telling you speaking to the mic.
I know. I can't get Blake to quiet down, and I can't get JD to talk into the mic. I thought you were a pro at this,
really
man.
Messing up levels.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun editing this.
Are you gonna play for us a little bit later?
No, absolutely
no. Let's move on to sports news.
Birmingham Iron.
The worst uniforms in the league.
Perhaps,
but good roster.
Great roster, though. I mean, if you look at this roster, so we'll link to the article in the show notes, obviously, but they have several players from local schools.
Yep.
I'll let you go through them, Blake. I'm just looking at the list.
Yeah,
here.
I'm just going to go through kind of the bigger names. Xavier Dixon. These are from Alabama, at least. Xavier Dixon, Josh Frazier, Brandon Green. Let's see. Trent Richardson, of course. Blake Sims, Bradley Silv. And then from Auburn, Quan Bray, Trayvon Reed, Ryan White, and Chris Davis, who is famous for letting the FSU player catch the ball over him to lose the national championship. That's what he's famous for. That's all he's
totally
famous for. There's nothing else he's done that I can really remember. So let's please move on. Sanford, South Alabama, and Troy has some players as well, along with Tuskegee.
No UAB players, though.
No UAB players, because they're all in
That's
the NFL,
a shame.
Man. They're all in the NFL.
That is. Well, I mean, I guess they didn't have a program for a little while.
But I will say this, they haven't had a program in a couple years, so they're kind of getting back at it. So maybe we'll get some UAB talent on it too. But
that'd be good.
they're going to kick off their season against the Memphis Express at 1 p.m. on February 10th at Legion Field. So
soon.
Yeah, it's very soon.
So it's right after the Super Bowl. It's like we don't want that letdown after the Super Bowl, so we can have some
football.
Football. It's gonna be cold.
Yeah.
Man, maybe we should have built a dome instead of an open air stadium. Do you want to rekindle that argument?
I'm staying away from it. I will say this: I'm although it's gonna be cold, I'm warming up to the idea of the football team. Hopefully, I mean we're at the season. They're gonna kick off. Well. Actually, they're not kicking off because they don't do kickoffs.
Yeah, they don't do that.
Yeah, like they do punts.
They do punts.
But they don't kick off.
They're just going to place the ball gently on the 25-yard line.
I'm just saying, I like a good kickoff. You know what I mean? I mean, without a kickoff, where would Kenyon Drake be? Probably still playing for the Dolphins, but, Just saying. Anyway,
I mean,
Birmingham
that's
Irons
just
play.
kickers that are losing jobs. I mean, I feel like that's discriminatory towards
I think
kickers.
so too. I think so too.
Class
man.
action suit. I see it coming.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh,
think it's a conspiracy to put them out of business.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that kicker hate.
So we should go to an Iron game.
We don't know how to do kickers in Alabama anyway.
Shoot, no. What are you talking about? Auburn get kickers. I mean, I could join Auburn's football team and be an All-American kicker apparently, but we get a guy who kicks an 80-yard field goal and he just get to Alabama and just, So anyway, so yeah, the Birmingham Iron. Check them out. Some local talent on the team.
The stadium is the stadium going to be part of the entertainment district that's in Uptown?
I would imagine it would
so.
be. Yeah.
That's great news. Speaking of entertainment districts,
Look at your segue. I like that. He's segueing like Steve Wozniak in Palo Alto. Just because he dropped the segue.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Got it. So Pepper Place now has gained entertainment district status.
I think this is great.
I do too. I think it's long overdue. They've been talking about this, I think, for a long ever since we came up with that.
I'm shocked that this is the first one, though. I thought Lakeview would be the first one.
It's not the first one.
Was Lakeview?
Or even Avondale.
This is the
first one?
Uptown.
Yeah. Well, Uptown was the first one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so this is the second one for
Well,
Birmingham.
Only, right?
Yeah, but I am shocked that Lakeview's not been declared an entertainment district yet.
Yeah, Lakeview, Avondale can kind of see because it's not really as enclosed.
It's a little more spread out.
Pepper Place is a little bit more, defined of an area. So I think it makes sense there, especially with our. I feel bad because we recorded our previous episode at the Lumbar and then we never put it out. So shout out to the Lumbar. Thank you for letting us record there a couple of times. We'll probably be back pretty soon.
The folks over there are great. They're like, can we turn on the volume for you? Like, no, man, keep
they're super accommodating.
It's great.
It's great. And that place is great for lots of things. Great drinks. Yeah, it's a cool space. Anyway, sorry I didn't mean to segue into that, but do appreciate them letting us record. So here's our shout out for them letting us record.
So you can go get a beer at Lumbar and then leave.
And walk over to one of the restaurants. You can walk over to like Oven Bird or Cantina or whatever else is over there.
Oven Bird.
Hop City?
Hop City?
Yeah.
We actually learned how to make beer at Hop City.
So can Hop City can you just take beers, go crack open a beer at Hop City now
they
and
have
take
a
it out?
bar, so you can get beers there.
Yeah.
So I imagine if they're in the entertainment district, I don't know how the
stumble on down to
legalities will work
Cantina
later, but I imagine you could just take one of those beers to go.
Oven Bird. I'm not a big fan of Oven Bird.
Don't do it and say JD told you to,
But do it.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
But this is really cool. I think this is one of my favorite areas. The Pepper Place Market is one of my favorite things to go to.
It, yeah.
walking around and drinking is awesome.
For sure.
I agree. I like walking around
Just
drinking.
I get that
Responsibly.
Course,
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I get that feeling like when I'm walking out of a place, I'm like, is this cool? It's like,
do I need to put this in a
we
go
good?
cup?
Okay. Like if you go to New Orleans or whatever, and it's like, you're walking out of the restaurant and people are like, oh, you're gonna take that with you? I'm like, is that an option?
Pouring a cup.
Here's the saddest thing about
cup.
me in New Orleans. I'm more liable to be seen walking down New Orleans or Bourbon Street with a cup of gumbo than I am with a beer. Because the food there is outstanding.
It's like I don't want to take up room in my stomach with
exactly,
alcohol.
Yeah.
I got all this food to eat.
I got all this food to eat. I think this is a great idea. I think there needs to be more of them in Birmingham. I think it's very attractive to restaurants and bars to bring them to places like this instead of just being sporadically placed out all around the city. But also, it just kind of helps the place grow. I mean, I really do think so. It becomes a destination for folks to say, hey, we're going to go to Pepper Place and we're going to stay in that area and we're going to check out other places rather than just going to one spot and then just staying there. You can get a good variety of stuff. So I think that'll help Pepper Place get more of bars and restaurants, and I think it's a good thing. And like I said, I think there needs to be more of them. I really do. And I think it's, at the end of the day, a little bit safer.
I agree.
So, yeah. So you can go to a restaurant and have a nice dinner, and then you can go to a bar and get a drink, and then you can walk over to another bar and hear JD and the Man play, wherever they're playing in Pepper Place, right?
We'll be around.
You ever played anywhere in Pepper Place?
No, we haven't.
See, you need to play. See?
I'm surprised you haven't played the Market.
Yeah, have you not played the Market?
We haven't played the Market.
You haven't asked, or you just...
Market, folks. We
Just
need an
hasn't.
invite for JD and the Man.
Just hasn't happened.
And he likes to play those early gigs, so that works out well.
I do like the early gigs.
What
It's
is
called getting old.
so? What made you now? Since we have you on the show, and I think we're done with news stories, right?
Yep, that's all for
JD,
the news.
What made you want to start like just playing like this, like as a side profession?
It started really in high school, just being in a couple of different bands, and then kind of college started a different band. It was really a 4-piece, and then when I moved to Birmingham, the drummer from that band moved up here too, and I was just like, hey, maybe you could start a little acoustic thing, just kind of doing this.
And he's actually in
Blue Yonder.
Blue Yonder, which we interviewed on this show a little bit earlier.
Also true.
See?
It's all connected.
Tying it in, guys. So anyway,
it's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe here. Just everything's just connected.
So I'm not a Marvel fan.
The Red Mountain Express universe.
There you go. And then we just started that. This was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we've just been doing it.
So you do gigs like that? Do you do like weddings?
We do weddings,
bar mitzvahs?
private parties. Just I haven't done a bar mitzvah yet.
I haven't done a bar mitzvah.
No, but yeah, we're around town.
There's still time, and you are available for.
What
bar
is the
mitzvahs.
weirdest thing you've done? Have you ever done anything like you're like, I can't believe I'm playing this? Anything like that lately?
No, not really anything that weird.
You've
kind of boring, really. Yeah.
You have done a Christmas sing along.
I've done a couple of Christmas sing-alongs.
Right. So
yeah.
2 or 3 now? Is that 2?
3.
Wow. You had a guy with a harmonica there, which was awesome.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. So,
Hops and hymns.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do.
But you guys play pretty regularly at like Good People and Saul's.
Yeah, Good People. We're there almost once a week. We usually do Tuesdays when they have yoga. And
that's cool. Oh, wait, so hold on. You're playing while they're doing yoga?
Yes.
Do you say like?
No. I mean, they're not like in the same room, but
okay.
They're generally outside except when there's cold weather, and then they're inside.
Cold. So they just kind of take over the whole bar area?
No, they're kind of back in the brewery area.
Oh, okay.
And just
with
a side note, our very first interview here on the Red Mountain Express was with the owner of Good People Road.
Yeah, so if you missed that episode, go back and listen to it. I'm not on it.
No, that was,
but I listened.
Yeah, sorry.
Pre-Patrick.
That was BP for Patrick. So when you're playing again? I know we talked about this earlier, but when you playing again?
So Thursday, January 31st at Odie's, probably starting around 9. And then Friday, February 1st at Saw's Juke Joint, 6-ish. Let's go with that.
Get you a Saw burger.
Yeah.
Some grits and greens.
Yeah.
Sweet tea chicken sandwich.
They had a jambalaya burger, which was fantastic.
It's good stuff. Making me hungry.
Yeah. So that's the show.
I think that's it.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Thank you for doing this,
thanks for having me.
And, thank you for having us because we are actually sitting in the basement of the Baker household right now, surrounded by a lot of guitars and cool stuff. And
we're about to go play that NES Classic over there.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm going to whoop your butt and stay in the Super Bowl with Bo Jackson. Because, I mean, if you get the Raiders, if you lose.
It's over.
That's cheating.
It's not cheating if it's in the game. So, well, listen, thank you for having us, JD. Glad you're on the show. And maybe
glad to be here.
Be here more often, I think so.
Let me know. I'll be around.
So there you go. Thank you all for listening to the latest edition of the Red Mountain Express. Like we said, we're going to keep trying to post on time. So I did appreciate those coming up to me and messaging me and saying, when's the new episode? That was nice to know that we were missed. Absence does make the heart grow fonder. Speaking of that, Matthew, come back to us.
We miss you.
Remember, you can follow us on redmountainexpress.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And like I said, go to redmountainexpress.com. Leave some comments. Let us know what you want to hear about. For Patrick Tucker and JD Baker, I'm Blake Westbrook. We'll see you next time.